Hi again, good to see you. I hope you can come fishing with me. It's two sessions this time. The first one on New Year's Eve, the second one I think last weekend, more recent. And it just demonstrates the feeding patterns of the grayling and how contrary these ladies can be, because two very contrasting sessions, quite similar water level but very different results. So I hope that you like the content. If you do, please consider subscribing and maybe give us a like. Let's try and get in for the first shot. No, the first fish, first cast, oh, it's gone. Like a grayling. Try again. Suitable for grayling. I think that bit I've baited up further down might be better for the silvers, but it is very, very blowy. The wind's gathering strength all the time. Add another 6 inches and basically keep going down until we find reliable bites. There's another. Oh, he's gone. I think we might have to try and step the hook size up a bit. Definitely fish here, but that 20 hook isn't really connecting properly. 2 fish hooked, 2 lost. Positive dive under them, but I don't think it was necessarily a fish. Fast water like this can look very much like a bite when it drags on the bottom. Hold it back a bit because I think it's quite shallow water there. Tangled up there. Now, that's a fish. Is that a grayling? I don't know. Moving upstream. That could be a trout, that. It could be a good grayling, I don't know. Not a bad one, I think it's a grayling, yeah. Usually the first thing you do is get below you and get in that current to use the big sail fin. That's a grayling. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Not even got the landing net set up, which will be the first thing we will. Just unhook it in the water. I can't. Just keep still a minute, little missus. Actually just hooked underneath the mouth rather than in it, which is strange. Beautiful fish, not big, maybe 10, 11 ounces, 3/4 of a pound on a good day with beer glasses, I think. And there's another. It's more of a traditional grayling fight. See, kites in the current now and uses that great big sail fin to help him fight, or her I should say. Maybe a male, maybe a female, but we tend to think of Grayling's female. Another decent one, not huge, maybe a bit bigger than the last one, not sure. This time he's hooked properly in the mouth. We'll go size up, and I think I'll try double maggot. A decent water level, and I think we can fish a bit positive really. I'll just talk you through the rig. Just stepped up to a 16-inch hook. It's on a 2-pound fluorocarbon hook length. Scissors. I'll just trim that tag end off. And I've got a 4BB Avon float, which we'll probably get away with something heavier because the wind's quite troublesome at the moment. Getting stronger too, I think. Rain's coming in the next hour or two, which will probably drive me off. So only a fairly short session. 2 maggots on. And I'm using a 15-foot float rod. Gives me, on a wideish stretch of river like this, it gives me a nice control. And the old centre pin reel. So let's get back in. Seems to be working, this setup. I'm going to give it another few minutes here, and then I'll try that slower swim further down and see if I can get a different species, maybe a roach or a chub or a dace or something. No, it's going straight through there, which means I'm not tripping the bottom at all. So one more shot in this near side, and then I'll extend the deepen the floor depth up a bit and see. Gusting wind's terrible. Nothing of it. But same size again. And they're in good fighting form, these fish. Midwinter. Beautiful. Back you go. Now this time I'm going to try a bit further down this run, and we're going to go a bit deeper. There might be a chance of a big one if I can find where the daddy of the shoal is. The other thing I can do is go shallower and go further up the run, because often big grayling can lie right at the head of a pool. In fact, in the run. Oh, that right. Absolutely shot under. Oh, there we go. And this feels like something heavy. No danger. What? I don't know. It feels more chubby, this. I don't know. No, I think it's a Grayling. Oh, it's about maybe the same size, possibly a shade bigger, I don't know. Well, it's a Grayling again. And again, slightly bigger one. This deeper water seems to be holding the bigger ones. Not quite as lively as the smaller ones, but oh yeah, it's a nice fish. That's a good one. That is a good one. Beauty. Very nice grayling that. Waiting to calm down, I can get that hook out. Another nice one. Another beauty. Oh, just one thing, the comments are going to be screened on this video, so by all means make a comment, but not relating to the location, because I'll just have to cancel any comments that have any relation to the location of the fishery. It's club rules and everything, privacy, so there we go. By all means comment, but I will be screening them, and only comments that I can deem suitable to not conflict with the club's social media policies will be published. So okay, thanks for watching. And it's the same approach again, double maggot, and let's see what happens here. I'm starting off quite deep. I have a hunch it's quite deep, but I suppose we'll soon find out. Quite a bit slow down here. More sedate pace to the river, and we've got a big tangle around the end of the rod straight away. Again, the wind's playing havoc. We've got line wrapping around the standoff rings that's getting blown about by gusts. Why are we just on the edge of that current? We'll probably get away with fishing this swim with a waggler rather than a stick float or avon float. There we go. That feels like yet another grayling. Is it? No. Yeah. Another grayling. That's what we've got here. I thought there might be some silvers. Yeah, little beauty. Not a big one at all. And another. Just grayling throughout, I think. A slightly bigger one again this time. Yeah, this is a nice one, that. Oh, it's another good one. Very good one. Because the curious thing is with a fly, as soon as you give them slack line, the hook seems to pretty well drop out. But you keep her in the net for a little minute or two, let her recover. I had quite a job getting a hook out, which wasn't mine. Mine had already fallen out, but there was a barbed hook just on the inside of her mouth. Anyway, we got it out, a tiny bit of bleeding, but she should be alright. But just let her recover from the ordeal. And When she's ready, she'll kick away and swim off. There we go, off she goes. Look at that, beautiful. And just steadily drift back into the current when she's ready. That's a nice one, that. Good, I don't know, £1.25. There's another. Beautiful fish, but I'd like to catch another species if I could. That is apart from motor season trout. Well, another different spot again. This time towards the tail of the pool. And see if there's anything other than grayling down here. Don't know the depth, I'm just guessing. I'm just at the sort of standard 4 or 5 foot from further back. If that runs through clear, I'll add a bit of depth to it. Not quite shallow, clean trot all the way down there, so increase the depth a bit. There we go again. Don't know what that is. Yeah. Same old, same old. Well, I think that must be about number 9 or 10 now. Also around about this size, which is quite nice. And I'm going to try this time 3 maggots on a 14 soup. And we're right at the head of the pool, in the run really, rather than the pool. I'm thinking it's only going to be 2 or 3 feet deep, so I'm going to move my float down a little bit, hold back, and see if anything turns up here. I say grayling aren't difficult to catch if you can locate them, certainly in the winter anyway. And it feels like a good one. Oh yes. Oh, maybe not. I thought it was quite a big one, that. It's not. Usual size, I think. Oh, it's gone. Well, good afternoon. Freezing cold day. Cold after the mild, after the snow. And as you can see from the bankside here, we've had some substantial floods. It's been right up into the fields, this river, but now it's quite settled, running a good level, nice and clear, and it's cold again. Like I say, I think 2 or 3 degrees is the best we're going to get today. And in the sole trader schedule of fishing trip planning, that can only mean one thing: the grayling. So I've got trotting tackle and I've got fly tackle for trying the my own style of check nymph, and we'll see what that can produce. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is make a worm bomb. So let's get a juicy worm, break it up into tiny fragments. I've got some molehill soil here from the top of the bank, plenty of molehills, and we'll make a little pie with the worms bedded in. Fold it over, make it into a nice little firm ball. and I'm going to toss it into this run roughly 20-30 yards upstream of where I expect the Grayling to be, which is where it starts sort of deepening off around about here. So I'll throw it in up here. Not right in the centre current, just on the edge, because the river's running a little bit on the high side, and I think we'll just be on the edge of this current if we can find any fish. So there's our point nymph, which is tungsten headed little sort of miniature pink shrimp, and the dropper, again the tungsten head, and that's more of a sort of a red tag variant really, with sort of green dubbing. I don't know what to call it really, I don't really have names for these flies, but there we go, we've got sort of green and red, and we've got a pink, whichever colour on this particular day might tickle the lady's fancy. I'm going to start off with the trot and then come to that a bit later. Here's our trotting tackle, 12-foot old-fashioned match rod, my dad's old rod in fact, recently repaired over the Christmas break. Seems to be doing alright with the chub and dace and whatnot, so I think it's alright. And there's our 14 hook under an Avon float, loaded with 4 BBs, and I think it's 3.2 line straight through. I put a split ring in so that it's not continuous. If I'm going to break off, it'll be at the split ring, because the knots are always the weakest point. But there's our little real squirmy wormy. We're just going to break the end off, let the juices out, and we'll try this guy. See what we can do with the worm. Did quite well with the maggots here over the Christmas break, New Year's Eve actually. It's a much colder day today, which really in theory should help with the grayling fishing really. And I'm going to try the worm. I've not got any maggots this time, because to be quite frank with you, it was just way too easy with the maggots, and it's an expense you don't really need to make for a day's grayling fishing. I'm going to stick with the worm, and I think from what I can remember in my fishing diary and reports, I think the worm is perhaps as good as anything for the bigger fish. You may not get quite the number of bites you do with maggots, but it certainly seems to attract the bigger grayling, so let's hope that's the case today. Try the top end of this pool, work down a bit. I think I need to go a bit deeper there. From memory, it's quite a deep hole just in front of that drain outflow. I'll just rearrange the shot. I'm going to bunch it a bit more towards the bottom. Got that one underneath the float. I'm going to move it down and put it onto the hook length. And that might get us a bit more sort of directly down in the water column. Well, part of that worm's gone, which is strange, because I didn't actually notice a bite at any stage. No, really not, so I'm going to go deeper still. think last time I came in the milder weather, these fish were probably moving up off the bottom to intercept the bait, where they're not willing to do that now it's cold. I don't know. Come on, let's have a bite. Oh, there we go. Fish on. Not a very big one by the feel of it. But, oh, I don't know. Oh, he's pulling a bit. What I said. Maybe it is a good fish. I don't know. Yeah. Pretty normal size grayling. Using my new net and the quick release and the new fish friendly mesh. There we go. I'll find my disgorger, which I should really have in my pouch. Right, have I got it in my pouch? Sorry. No, I think it's in the front compartment of that fishing bag. Let's have a look. Well, that fish came after going a bit deeper with the float. It looks like I was going over the heads before. So, regular disgorger. Again, I'll try and avoid handling him. Might be a male, this one. Looks a bit thick set. And this is what I would call a good bit of grayling water. We've got a fast run coming in at the top there, steadying out, and although it's a bit choppy, it's a nice steady current, and I'm thinking a depth of about maybe 3 feet. I'm just going to shallow that up a bit because the last pool was quite deep. So I'll pull the float down. And I'll try that, see how that swims. Quite close in at first, and I'll go further out. That's dragging on the bottom. Maybe a little bit further out. And hold back a bit. Still dragging. Bit more difficult to see that float in the choppy water. Maybe it could do with being a bigger float, really. There we go, we're in. It's a grayling, I'm sure. Don't think it's a very big one. Normal size again. Well, it just shows you that. I think this one's a bit smaller than the last one. If it hooks on the outside of the mouth, I can maybe do me unhooking without hands-free unhooking. Disgorge it. Oh, he's done the job himself. So I've got Grayling down there, definitely, and still got the remnants of that worm, so I'm going to carry on. See if there's another, and then we'll try the nymph over that bit. Well, a bit of a struggle compared to the New Year's Eve session. Two reasons. I think one, if I'd used maggots rather than worms, I'd have probably had several grayling, you know, well hooked and landed. Didn't do too bad. I bounced 4 fish on the worm, which isn't bad really. Didn't touch anything on the check nymph, but I didn't really try it very long. I've got a bit of an ache in my wrist at the moment, which the trotting seems a bit easier than the fly fishing at the moment. But the other factor, I think, is the abrupt change to colder weather. I think the best we've had is 3 degrees today for a very short time. It's been sort of more like 2 degrees, which is pretty cold compared to how mild it's been during the week. I think we had 7 or 8 yesterday, so that's an abrupt drop in temperature, which I think grayling are the most resistant to abrupt drops in temperature, but it still doesn't really do much of a favour to the fishing. So I'd say if we'd had a mild day, I'd have probably done quite well on the worm, maybe half a dozen grayling, and maybe a big one amongst them. But as it is, we've got to make the best of what we've got with the weather. Opportunities are a bit limited for me at the moment, so I had to take the opportunity. It wasn't it's not that often I've got an afternoon to go at it, so it was good to have a bit of time and not be rushing. Anyway, that's it. I think the next time I manage to get up here will probably be in 2 or 3 weeks into February, probably pretty well at the end of the grayling season, because if you get mild weather in February, I find the brown trout start to get very active, and you're constantly sort of trying to fend off unwanted out of season brown trout. Cold spell in February, yeah, maybe we'll probably get the grayling, but what you really want is several days of cold weather rather than the first day of a cold spell. Yeah, anyway, that's all my excuses. If you've enjoyed the content, please subscribe and give us a like, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.